Okay, hello everyone. My name is Laquan Williams, and today in this video I wanted to discuss the fourth season and the third episode of Black Lightning, which came on yesterday on Monday, just yesterday on the 22nd of February 2021. I wanted to talk about that and also what's next for the rest of this final season for Black Lightning, and also the spin-off series Painkiller, which will be airing sometime this year, and it has been approved, and it looks like they have added more people slash actors to the cast and new characters to the whole entire cast, as far as adding it in with the regular characters on Black Lightning and also Khalil himself. And it was reported last week that Thunder and Lightning and will be on the Painkiller show in some type of capacity. They'll make guest appearances. I don't know what other characters will be on the show as well with Khalil. Hopefully, maybe, possibly, we will see Black Lightning on there as well on his spin-off show. So I wanted to talk about the third episode that was aired last night. Basically, it's continuing on with what we've seen so far in the previous two episodes of this final season of Black Lightning. Jefferson Pierce, who is Black Lightning's secret identity. Obviously, that's who he is as a regular person. He is a superhero by night, but by day he is a principal at Garfield High School. He has basically made it his case to make it be known that he doesn't want to be Black Lightning anymore again, and this time he's done for good. So just continuing on with the first two episodes of this final season, which is the fourth season of Black Lightning. He has not put his new suit on yet that he got just last season, so he hasn't put a suit on yet still. We got a glimpse of the old suit from the first two seasons, a couple of seasons in this episode, when Gambi used his Black Lightning's old suit as basically a target practice on, when he used the new DEG, which are dampening energy guns, which the police officers will be able to use in Freeland against metahumans and also against human beings. But it obviously hurts metahumans obviously much more worse, especially if they have obviously metagenes and obviously powers, because they obviously are super, human strength and obviously have abilities, but they can also hurt humans as well. And they have vaporizing technology in the gun. It was very crazy to see. So continue on with that. There was no gang fighting this week, but there was obviously the appearance of the 100 gang in the episode with their leader, who is obviously now Lala. He runs the gang now because Tobias Whale obviously has decided to move on. He's playing the role as the philanthropist, the fake philanthropist, but he's also spending money around Freeland, buying up properties, getting in touch with the mayor, trying to basically grease the palms of the city to basically bend to his will and do what he wants, because he's trying to rebrand his image. But he still obviously has an ulterior motive, but it hasn't been shown yet what his ulterior motive is for this season, besides getting all this property up. But it looks like he might have something that he wants to do again with using the metahumans and their gene technology again to make superhuman soldiers that he didn't have a problem with using last season, just like the ASA did. And Gravedigger, who is the bad guy, who was played by Wayne Brady, he will be back in this final season, because at the end of the previous season, in season 3, we thought he was dead, but at the last minute of the episode, a couple seconds, we saw that he obviously was not. He was still alive, so we'll wait to see what happens with that. So in this episode again, the third episode, Black Lightning basically is trying to, of course, he still remains upset, obviously, about what happened to Detective Henderson. But in this episode, he does some good to actually try to help somebody else again. The teacher in the previous episode, who lost his kid in a shooting, the man had lost his kid in a drive-by shooting, a gang shooting that was happening. Actually, it wasn't a drive-by shooting, it was a gang shooting in the streets between the Cobra Cartel and the 100 gang that happened last week. The parent lost one of his kids in the car that got hit by a straight bullet. He has 4 kids, and he lost one of them. It was one of his sons, so Black Lightning helped him out in this episode, because it was shown that he was a teacher by day, but at night he was fighting in Lala's underground cage fighting, which is illegal, obviously. in the city of Freeland, and for the most part, and obviously most parts of the states of any other regular American city, even though Freeland's not a real city. But like I said, underground fighting. He was fighting because he didn't have enough money to pay for his rent. Obviously, since he lost one of his kids, by a gunshot, obviously to the chest. Child Protective Services took the rest of his kids because they deemed him to be an unfit father and parent. So he was trying to do everything he could to get them back, and Black Lightning helped him out. So Jefferson Pierce, who is Black Lightning, went into the underground cage fighting, obviously facility / arena, to take his teacher's place and fight for him in order for him to win the money that he needed to pay for his rent. So he helped him out with that and fought this big huge guy. I thought he looked like he was possibly maybe Polish or maybe Swedish. I don't know, but it looked like he was just a big huge white guy. So he fought him, and that's basically what happened. He looked like he was a football player. The guy was huge. So basically, then after that, obviously we see Jefferson and his wife Lynn continuing to fight about her decision to continue to use metahuman gene powers to go out at night and fight crime with her daughters, even though they told her that they didn't need her to be there because she's a liability, because she's obviously not a metahuman. She's injecting herself with metahuman powers to make herself into a superhero with obviously abilities and whatnot, because obviously she's not a metahuman who has abilities and special powers like Black Lightning and his daughters. So the wife, Lynn, she does not have powers, but her 2 daughters and her husband do, Black Lightning, which he obviously gave to his 2 daughters, obviously, by birth. And we also seen, continuing on with what we saw in the last episode, Gambi, who was obviously the family friend of the Black Lightning and the Jefferson Pierce and his family, the Pierce family. He is getting close again to his old friend that he used to work with in the ASA, and obviously has CIA connection ties to. He took one of their prototypes for their DEG guns, the dampening energy guns. He stole it, and he has been focusing on trying to figure out how to make the guns less damaging to obviously Black Lightning and the rest of the metahumans and that he works with, obviously, such as TC and obviously Jefferson Pierce's daughters, Black Lightning's daughters, Thunder and Lightning. So continuing on with that, Gambi's basically playing a double agent because he knows that these guns are obviously going to be used on the metahumans, and obviously a prototype was kind of used against Lightning, Jefferson Pierce's younger daughter, Black Lightning's younger daughter, last week, and she got hit, and she was able to recover eventually, but it still kind of left a dampening effect over her as far as her obviously having trouble recovering a little bit with her powers. So we saw that. So basically he's trying to keep those guns off of any criminal's hands, but unfortunately it looks like they already have some to a certain degree. Lala and the 100 gang were able to get their hands on one last week. So it said that it stated that Lala told his guys to make sure that a couple of those guns fall off the truck for them to get, so he wants them to steal some of them and apprehend them whenever the police actually get the official guns handed to them over by the company that's making them. So that Gambi obviously is going undercover with, because his friend, this lady that he used to be friends with and obviously really likes and has feelings for, he's using that friendship to get close to her and also gain his foot into the company. And he's been hired as their new liaison / security tech consultant in charge of all their firmware and database, obviously operations. And last week he broke into their facility, went into their server rooms, and he snuck around there and he looked to see what they were doing. And it looks like he's piggybacking off what they're doing and spying on them to make sure he can keep track of what they're doing as far as making not only this new DEG dampening energy gun, but also if they're going to be working with the police directly, and also any other, I guess you could say, companies such as the ASA and maybe even possibly Tobias Whale, since he has so much money that he's putting it back into Freeland in order to change his image and to become a philanthropist / activist and city pioneer and peer and leader. That's what he's looking to do right now as well. And we also saw that Lightning was trying to rebrand her image after it was falsely put out by the news and the media that she was hurting people, and they were trying to spin the narrative that she and the rest of the metahumans are bad for the city and that they need to be stopped, and the police have everything under control, which is what we saw last week in the second episode. That basically the police are letting it be known that, and the new police chief, she says that the city is ours and we are the ones who are going to be on the front lines protecting it, not the metahumans. We are going to be doing that and to take on the gangs and whatnot. So that's obviously what's been happening. We've seen that obviously the new gang, the Cobra Cartel, has been going up against the 100, and the cops obviously are outnumbered, and they've got less hands and people available to help them out, which is why Black Lightning and the rest of the metahumans obviously are needed in the city because they need their help, because they obviously have less of a knowledge to grasp on this whole entire concept of metahumans. And when Gravedigger comes back, he's very powerful. He's got multiple abilities. He can steal other metahumans' powers. He's very, very smart and very evil and conniving. He won't be he will not be obviously threatened by the police, and they're no match for him. They can use those DEG guns, the dampening energy guns on him. They might affect him, but I don't think they're going to fully put him down, or even Tobias Whale. They'll probably affect him a little bit, but they're very powerful, obviously, and more evil and dangerous than last time, obviously. Now, especially with Tobias Harris becoming more wealthy and gaining more money, which I don't know how he was able to do that from the previous last season. It looks like he probably, I don't know, it didn't really show you, we didn't really see on the show how he basically came into the money, but looks like, I guess, all the money he already had and that he had invested in the 100 gang, I guess, in the properties of his secret hideout, he took out and possibly invested in somewhere else. I don't know, it's very interesting to see that, but it looks like that's probably the case. He saved money and just decided to leave because, like I said before, he's no longer the leader of the gang. Lala is, who used to be his top enforcer that he killed in the first season, and Lala was brought back to life towards the end of the second season, if I'm not mistaken. So we're seeing with that, and then Anessa, the older daughter of Black Lightning, who was Thunder, her girlfriend came back to. Excuse me, she didn't come back to life. She came out of her coma. Grace, she is a shapeshifter. She can shapeshift into animals and also people. She came back to, she came back to obviously not the spirit world, but she's back. She's back out of her coma. She's alive. Everything's well, and they got married. And what we're gonna see now is obviously what takes place with their relationship, because obviously it looks like in the series of the comic books that they form some type of team together. Now, I don't know if that's going to be something in the spinoff that's going to happen, obviously, with Painkiller. If they're going to have some type of role, obviously, appearances on the show, we will see Thunder and Lightning as well. I don't know who else is going to show up on the show. So, that's basically all we saw. Again, Black Lightning has not put on his suit as of now. And it's been 3 episodes now. It's going to be, episode 4 will be on next Monday. In the beginning of the episode, we saw Black Lightning have what was we thought was real, which turned out to be not a dream, but a nightmare of Tobias Whale entering his home and telling him to sit down and have dinner with him, even though his family wasn't there. He asked him where his family was at. He said, "Don't worry, they're safe, they're fine." He attacked him, fought him, but nothing that he did affected him. Just like obviously what we saw last week when Tobias Whale got shocked by Black Lightning, who is Jefferson Pierce, because he's been taking some new type of serum that's obviously way more stronger than what he took in the previous season. So he's much more stronger now and dangerous. So I think that if Black Lightning uses his suit, he might be able to hurt Tobias Whale a little bit, maybe even less. Maybe even more, obviously less than what we've seen with him without his suit, because obviously he needs a suit to increase his power level, because it helps him out, obviously, with his body, since seeing as how the powers that he uses with electricity and the lighting and whatnot can damage his gamma waves, and he can fly. It's easier for him to use his suit, obviously, to do that, because his suit helps him and protects his body, obviously, just like most superheroes. But he says he's done being Black Lightning, but we'll see what happens. Obviously, the last season is not over yet. He will put the suit on. I don't know if he's going to put it on the next episode, which is season 4, episode 4 next week, but we will see. We also basically got a glimpse, obviously, as to what Lala is doing now to offset more money from the city, which is obviously a Freeland, which is underground cage fighting, besides selling drugs and weapons, and obviously him being in the rival gang war with his rival gang, the Cobra Cartel, which Lady Eve, who is played by singer and actress Jill Scott. We haven't seen her yet. It looked like she died the last season, but they still haven't shown her body yet. So, and she can't come back to life. This would be the second time she would come back to life. So, she's not gone yet. So we'll see what happens with her. And if she comes back, obviously the Cobra Cartel are run by her gang. They're in rival gang in the city, like I said. Wayne Brady, who is Gravedigger, will be back. I don't know who's going to be like his army in the season, but he's the main villain. The new protagonist, besides obviously Tobias Whale, who will be in this season, obviously again. And we also have news about the Painkiller TV show spinoff of Black Lightning, which will be airing probably this summer, possibly the early fall, I think. But we'll see what happens with that. I have the article right here from Deadline. It says that Black Lightning spinoff Painkiller adds Sibanji Malabo, Alexandra Hodge, and James Roche. I don't know how to pronounce some of their names, so sorry about that. It says exclusive. This is on Deadline. The cast for CW's Painkiller, the spinoff for Black Lightning, is coming together as the cast has been, as these actors and actress have been added to the cast. Painkiller is planned as a planned pilot spinoff that will air as the 7th episode of Black Lightning's 4th and final season, which is currently airing on the CW, which sees actor Jordan Calloway reprise his role as Khalil, and we'll see what happens with that. It explains the characters of who they're going to be playing, these actors on the show. So this was just put out on the 16th of February last week, so it's just showing basically who's going to that these actors and this actress are going to be on the show. It explains who their characters are going to be. So it looks like that this is going to be a go for this spinoff. As I've stated before, the Constantine show that could have happened was not going to be made by the CW network. They said that they weren't going to do it. There were talks about it, but nothing was official and final. So Matt Ryan won't have his own show on the CW as John Constantine. He is playing him on the DC Legends show, but other than that, that's it. Besides that, he plays him on the CW Seed, which is the CW's shows that are online that are animated. He plays obviously John Constantine on the Dark Justice League on there, as he does the voiceover of him on there. But him having his own solo show, which he had on NBC a couple of years ago, that was canceled. That was when we first saw him. I explained I have that on DVD on Blu-ray when it came out a couple of years ago, even though it was canceled by NBC. There will be a new John Constantine show that's going to be on HBO Max. We'll possibly see. I just did a video about that. We'll possibly see a trailer before this year is over. I highly doubt that we won't. So that's another spinoff that's not happening on the CW. And also the Green Arrow and the Canaries is not happening. That was supposed to be picked up, but it was not picked up. Nobody knows what's going on with that. The CW network has still not put out an official press release about that. Neither has Warner Brothers, which is the company that owns the network and the TV channel. Basically, with the shows being DC Comics, comic books based shows. But tonight, the first episode of Superman and Lois, the pilot episode, will be on. The first episode for this season, which is season 1. I'm going to talk about that tomorrow. So we're basically seeing what these people, these actors and this actress have been doing as far as their resume and whatnot. So they're going to be on the Painkiller show. We'll see what happens with that. So it looks like it's going to be a go. More people added to the cast besides Khalil as Black Lightning. Khalil as Painkiller, and obviously Thunder and Lightning are going to be on the show in some type of capacity. They'll make guest appearances. Obviously, of course, Black Lightning will as well. We don't know what's going to happen with the ASA, but we'll see what happens with that. That's all I have to say about that, and we'll see what happens in the 4th episode of Black Lightning next week for season 4, episode 4. Will he finally put his suit on? And his obviously not the suit he's currently wearing in this picture, but his his obviously superhero suit slash costume. Will he finally put it on? We'll see what happens with that. It's been very fun so far. It's just mostly it's mostly been obviously showing him obviously much more depressed and angry as he's ever been. We'll see what happens with that. It's obviously a much more moody, darker season, obviously, as far as that goes, with the tone of the family continuing to infight and more villains obviously popping up out of nowhere, obviously, with the new guy that's with Tobias Well, this bald white guy who's always, it looks pretty creepy. Last season we saw Gravedigger pop up, who was played by Wayne Brady. He will be back. And obviously the Cobra Cartel, which has now popped up. And Lala has now become a bigger protagonist in the past season, so more and more people are here besides the ASA, and obviously they're gone, but the police are obviously a more threat now, because the new police chief is not for metahumans, and now they have DEG, dampening energy guns, to go up against the metahumans and Black Lightning and his family and friends. So we're going to see what happens with that. It's just unfortunate. Like I said before, this is the last season. It's 13 episodes. The previous season was 16. Painkiller spinoff show / pilot introduction will be in the 7th episode of this final season, which will show us basically what we can see and obviously understand as a preview into his show that will air obviously this summer, possibly the early fall of 2021. So we'll see what happens with that. Again, thank you for watching. That's all I have to say in regards to Black Lightning's third episode for this 4th and final season. This is my review. If you have any questions about the Black Lightning show, as far as like what do you think could happen with the spin-off show, obviously let me know. And I also want to have your comments explain. Obviously I want to hear them. What do you think about the Painkiller show, and also any other shows that you think should be picked up by the CW possibly, and not just including the Constantine show, but obviously if you've seen anything else out there that you think that can be picked up by them. And also, what are your thoughts possibly on the Superman Lois show, and if you're going to watch it or not. Thank you again for watching. That's all I have to say in this video. Thanks again. Bye.